Hello to all my old friends.
Jumping to conclusions.
Well, I didn't include you. There's a few I have to eliminate.
All my old friends.
Yeah.
Is it good to get this one out of the way early, do you think? Or?
Well, I think you're asking that from a personal perspective. At least that's what I think, and it really doesn't matter for me. It's more important for our team to get a game under their belt and for us to have some type of evaluation tool. We believe we've had a pretty good training camp. The players have been attentive and worked hard, but we won't know until we play through Vancouver really where we're at and how many different things we need to adjust and personnel decisions and stuff like that. So it is good to get it out of the way for that reason, but me personally, no, it doesn't matter.
Do you have a pretty good feel on the type of game that you guys are going to play, the qualities that will be there, or what you want to build into it?
Well, we're hoping we do. But I use this word here, test, in Edmonton a lot. We haven't taken a test yet. We have an idea and our identity of how we want to play. We obviously have to pick the pace up. We've got to be able to score more. This team has to prevent more than they did last year. The special teams have to get improved. Like, we need overall improvement. The train has to move forward on a daily basis, and that's what we're looking for. So I guess to answer your question, we have an idea of how we'd like to play, but can we play that way is what we're waiting to see.
Drew Doughty says he loves you because there's lots of teaching, and he hasn't had that before, and he was getting stale before.
Well,
If it's like him says it, what is that?
Well, that's always good. I don't think they've seen many bad days yet, though, so we'll see what what he's saying when it's kind of ugly. But right now, the veterans have been very good throughout training camp, and obviously Drew's in that group. They're willing to put themselves out there and look for change, whether it's systematically, the way we want to play, terminology, stuff we use. They've almost become mechanical at some point and not natural, and that worries me a little bit. But, to have a defenseman on your team of that caliber and of that stature in the locker room be comfortable at this point is great. But, again, we haven't played, and I'm going to poke and push him all the time. So there's going to be some days where maybe he's not so happy with the coach, but it's good to have that relationship early.
Connor and Leon both said this morning that you showed a lot of patience with them and helped them sort of as much with confidence and pushing them, especially Leon, to be the best players they can be. I mean, when you hear that, just what sort of reaction does that bring?
Well, that's rewarding. When you hear from two young players like that, but I also still hear from players in San Jose that keep in touch via text, and they may not all be Sharks still, but they reach out and at moments where it's probably not going so good for either me as an individual or the staff, they reach out and they're appreciative of what we've done for them. So to hear Connor and Leon speak that way, it means a lot to me. It really does. I hope that I had some impact on their the molding of their careers. They're going to have real good coaches. They've got one now that's going to continue that process, and someday maybe I'll be sitting at the Hall of Fame dinner when they're both entering it. Let's hope that happens.
Drew also said players want to win tonight for you. What's that statement mean to you?
I want them to win for themselves. There's always some extra motivation in a game, whether it's a player going back to their hometown, something's going on somewhere in the league that motivates the group. If I'm the guy tonight, then great. But ultimately, we're trying to turn the team over to the group, letting them make some decisions on how they want to look, how they want to play. And, if they throw a good game out there tonight, I don't know what the score will be at the end of the night, but if we play well and we see structure and we see attempts to execute the right way, we'll be pleased, and we'll go to Calgary tomorrow, practice, and get better.
What do you miss about Edmonton?
Well, I miss coming to this building. I miss the people. I got a good taste of it again yesterday. And when we flew in, just walking around town and going to have dinner downtown, the friendliness and the openness of the fan here is really incredible. And I knew that when I was here. Now I know it after I'm gone. I didn't know how to get in the building, if that means anything. I've never been in the visitors' locker room here, so for somebody who spent almost 4 years in one city, I don't know where to go in a building I should be familiar with.
For several years we were talking to you about Leon and Connor together, Leon and Connor apart. You're coaching against them tonight now. You must have, you've seen how different coaches react to those situations.
Yeah, I hope they're apart. So if you want my opinion on whether they're whether they're better together or apart, I hope they're apart when you're coaching against them. They're a dynamic duo, and you know, you can throw Nuge and a number of other players obviously in that team. But I hope, or I believe, we have players that can play against that and match that. And some of our players haven't had or coming off seasons they're not proud of. So the pride in the locker room, that's the one thing I've noted being around these veterans, is that they're a proud group. They've won championships because of pride and pulling through some of the crap during the season that occurs. And we have a proud group. Was that enough to get us a whole bunch of wins? I don't know. But I expect a lot of players to bounce back this year, you know, from our perspective.
18-year-old Tobias Bjornfoot just put a smile on our faces. What kind of thoughts does he bring to you?
Puts a smile on my face so far too. Mature beyond his years. You know, the plan obviously is a first-round draft pick. He came over, and he was one I didn't know much about. He started through rookie camp, and you know, we had a date picked where maybe we'd be sending him back to Sweden, and he missed that flight, and he missed the flight the next day, and he still hasn't got to the airport. And that has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with him. Very solid player, positionally strong, not intimidated by the NHL or its presence, and I mean that media-wise, coach-wise, player-wise. Has a lot still to learn. I think it'll be like a pitcher going through the major leagues the first time. You better learn quick at what the batters are doing. But we're prepared to give them that opportunity, and that's where we are as an organization. We need to let some young players experience growth, and we need some old players to recover.